He was the type of person to motivate you. He always wanted anyone to succeed. He always wanted everybody to have a better life for themselves. He was just hungry. He just wanted to make the album. If he could get 500,000 fans, he used to say, he happy.
Check me out right here, yo.
We was like on our way to the parking lot, like waiting for the cars to come out. Our car came first, and we was waiting for Puffy's car to come. So when this car came, we all pulled out.
Big was in the front, Cease was sitting behind Big, and I was like sitting behind the driver.
Car just rolled up on the right-hand side and just started shooting holes in the door.
Lil Cease has finally admitted he was wrong about Lil Kim. If you know their history, you already know this is major. For years, Kim got painted as the villain. After Biggie passed, people acted like she was fake, like she switched sides, like she wasn't really there for him. But truth is, she was probably one of the only ones who really had his back, even after he was gone. Meanwhile, Cease and the rest of Junior MAFIA were out here feeding the story that made her look bitter and phony. And that version stuck. The media ran wild with it, fans believed it, and Kim got left out of Biggie's legacy in a major way. Now Cease is finally speaking up. He admitted he played a role in how Kim was painted and said she deserves way more credit for what she did for Biggie when he was alive and after he passed.
You know, just how did it feel to finally put that behind you? Because y'all is, like you said, it might not be your blood sister, but that's your sister.
I knew her before I knew Big. You know what I'm saying? I knew Kim before I knew Big. That's why the situation was so, that's why it lasted so long, because it was so personal. Mm-hmm. It's not about nothing with court shit, none of that shit. We're not going to even address that, but it's nothing to do with that. My apology was I wasn't a good brother to her. I made some wrong moves, some bad mistakes, and that was just the perfect time to do that. You know, I didn't plan that. We was all having a great time, and, and I just know the comfort she needed because I know her. And I wanted to do that. I wanted to let her know that. I wanted to let all the people around know that. You know what I'm saying? And I just felt like that's what I wanted to do, and she deserved that. You know what I mean? Because a lot of times, when Big died, she held me down. And I wasn't acknowledging that the way I was supposed to. And then we had other little situations that kind of separated us and other people that separated us. And we was too stubborn. People just let us on. And, and we just let God work. And God worked. And one day she hit me and we talked like nothing ever happened. And she had a plan that she wanted to do this dinner. She said she wanted to put Big Heart back together. And putting his heart back together was getting all his peoples together. And we all got together, me, her, the whole Junior Mafia, D-Rock, and C Gutter. He was locked up for 16 years, so he was home to be there for that. Rube, just our whole team, like everybody that we started with was at that dinner. So I felt like that was the appropriate time to do it, and I needed to do that for her, and I wanted to do it for her. You know what I'm saying? I just felt like that was a great time, and that's my sis for life. Just because we had a little falling out, the love was still there on both sides.
So let's break down exactly what Cease said, why it matters, and how Kim was really the one keeping Biggie's legacy going when everyone else turned their backs. To get why Cease's apology really matters, you gotta know how deep the drama between them ran. After Biggie's death in '97, things got messy fast. Junior MAFIA, the crew Biggie built with Kim and Cease, started to fall apart. People picked sides, money ran dry, and egos got loud. But the real fallout hit in 2005 when Kim got wrapped up in that federal case. She went to prison for perjury, for lying to a grand jury about a 2001 shootout outside Hot 97 involving her people. And that's when everything truly broke between her and Cease.
Kim was found guilty of lying to a federal grand jury during the investigation of outside a New York radio station. Prosecutors say she made up most of her eyewitness testimony about a 2001 fight outside Hot 97. The shooting broke when Lil Kim's entourage crossed paths with a rival rap group, injuring one man. Lil Kim now faces up to 20 years.
Kim ended up getting sentenced to 1 year in prison, plus 30 days of home detention once she got out, and 3 years of probation after that. She did her time at the Federal Detention Center in Center City, Philly, and walked out on July 3rd, 2006. But this is where things really heat up, because this is when Lil Cease's name got dragged into the mix. See, Cease actually testified against Lil Kim at her trial. Yeah, he really did that. But later he tried to spin it, saying the media blew it out of proportion. He claimed it wasn't as serious as people made it seem. According to him, it wasn't that deep. Just the fact I was on the stand made it look shady. Cease swore up and down that he didn't get Kim locked up. He said there wasn't anything he could have said that would have kept her from doing time. She wasn't in a situation where me saying something would send her away. Then he kind of shifted the blame, saying maybe folks around her made it seem worse, or maybe Kim felt betrayed just because of the whole vibe of the trial. He even said, I felt like she had chances to do things differently, and she didn't. But nobody from Mafia, not me or anybody else, said anything that got her sent away. Cease claimed Kim would have gone down anyway because she lied under oath. Simple as that. But from Kim's perspective, Cease stepping into that courtroom was way deeper than just telling the truth. That move felt like the ultimate betrayal. Not just of her, but of Biggie's legacy too. After everything they'd been through, after all the loyalty Kim had shown, Cease taking that stand cut deep. He might have said he was just being honest, but in hip-hop, especially back then, testifying in court was seen as a no-go. That was a line you just didn't cross. After everything went down, Kim didn't just fall back. She cut Junior Mafia off completely. She made it loud and clear she wasn't rocking with Lil Cease at all. The silence between them lasted for years. Cease tried to clear his name in interviews, but Kim wasn't trying to hear it. To her, it was simple. He sold her out. But the media, they mostly backed Cease. Kim got labeled as bitter, hard to work with, and stuck in the past, even though she was the one who sat behind bars. Cease, on the other hand, got to float around acting like he was just being honest, even though what he said helped put Kim in prison. So yeah, their beef wasn't just some petty fallout, it ran deep. This was about loyalty, respect, and how women, especially black women, always end up catching the blame while others come out clean. But then came a moment nobody expected. In 2019, things started to shift. Kim hosted a tribute dinner for Biggie's birthday, and the energy in that room, powerful. Everybody who meant something to Biggie was there, including all the old Junior Mafia members. And that's when Lil Cease stepped up and did something real. He got on that mic and publicly apologized to Kim. He told her she was like a sister to him, and he meant it.
I genuinely apologize. I love you from the bottom of my heart. You like one of my, you are my sister. You're not a real sister, but you my sister.
God is good.
For life. And I love you for bringing this energy here, right?
God is good.
I mean that from the bottom of my heart, boy.
Yeah, Steve. God is good. He's real.
Oh yeah, I didn't want to say that to you.
Kim later opened up to Vibe magazine about that night. She said it couldn't have happened at a better time. It's been a long time since we've all been together on his birthday or done anything like that, she said. For me, it was a spiritual awakening. This was his heart. Mending Big's broken heart meant putting all of us back together, head to toe. Fast forward again. Cease showed even more emotion in a recent interview. He got real talking about how he hadn't been a good brother to Kim. He even shared that after Biggie died, Kim let him crash at her place when he had nothing, and that hit people hard, because even with all the betrayal and pain, Kim still showed love to her people when they needed her most. Lil Cease's apology, it flipped the whole narrative. Fans started looking at the situation with new eyes, like, wait a minute, maybe Lil Kim was done dirty this whole time. Maybe folks were too quick to throw dirt on her name, and her side of the story had been ignored for way too long. Now let's get into what Lil Kim really did to keep Biggie's name alive, even when it felt like the world was trying to push her out the picture. From the jump, Kim never stopped honoring Big.
Well, happy 50th. Happy Biggie 50th. One thing about Little Kim, she gonna ride for some B.I.G.
That's right.
And I'm so happy to see everybody here. I mean, the whole family. Tiana, CJ, you know, you guys are my heart.
Go back and listen to her album. She's always name-dropping him, shouting him out, dedicating tracks to his memory. On her second album, the Notorious K.I.M., there's a tribute that hits deep. It's a track with Mary J. Blige called Hold On, and it's all about the pain of losing Biggie. Kim pours her soul into it, saying the grief hurt as bad as giving birth. And if you've ever seen the footage of Kim breaking down at Biggie's funeral, you know every word was real And on that same song, Kim doesn't hold back. She even calls out some of Biggie's so-called industry friends, who she felt were getting rich off his death. And you already know, she was sending a message to some big names in the room. Over the years, Kim's never missed a beat. She's performed tribute after tribute, headlining events on the anniversaries of his death, always showing love to his memory in public and behind the scenes. In 2016, she dropped I Did It for Brooklyn with Mino, a full-on tribute to Big and the borough that raised him, and those family-style Biggie tribute dinners everyone talks about. Kim's the one organizing them. She's been doing the work to keep his name alive even when others forgot. Kim was out here pulling people together to honor Biggie, including some of the same folks she had real beef with. That's major. You don't see too many male rappers swallowing their pride like that, but even with all the love she gave, people still kept misjudging her for years after Big passed. They either acted like she didn't matter or tried to downplay her whole role in his story. Let's not forget, Lil Kim knew Big before the fame. Back when he was just Christopher from Brooklyn, he brought her with him from day one, and that says everything about how deep their bond really was. But people used to clown Kim, saying Biggie wrote all her bars, like she couldn't hold her own on the mic. And sure, he helped her in the beginning, but Kim's pen, certified. Ask anyone who actually listens to her verses. She's been spitting heat since the jump. Kim helped build the whole lane for women in rap. No Kim, then no Nicki, no Cardi, no Megan. Facts. But somehow, the industry and the media kept trying to sideline her. And it hit a breaking point when the Notorious movie dropped in 2009. Kim was livid. They turned her into some messy side chick, when in real life, she was one of the closest people to Big, creatively and personally.
Never involved with the movie. I was never, but the movie went into green light and I didn't even know about it. You know, how can you write, this is my dispute with this. Like, how can you write a movie about somebody's life and you don't even talk to them? Like, that's just
how can they get your dialogue too? Like, if there was situations, okay, well, this is what happened. Like,
or the
if it was a big event,
right?
Then they say, okay, well, but how could they get just every word? Like
how,
this is what
how
she
do you
said.
know how I touch Biggie? How do you know how we kissed? How do you know how we talked? How do you know what? Like, there were certain things that we did intimately that no one would ever know except for me and him.
Right.
You know, and so after the movie went down, and you know they already picked who they wanted to pick, and you know they already greenlit the movie, and they were already shooting in Brooklyn. I went down there with my lawyers flipping, like, you know, what the heck is going on?
Have you seen the movie yet?
I've seen a little bit of it.
Is it hard for you to even watch it?
It's hard for me to even watch it because it's so far-fetched from the truth. I mean, the stories of even him and Faith, and it's so far-fetched from the truth. This story is ridiculously funny. It's like a spoof to me.
Then came the label politics. Remember that Monica track, Anything to Find You? Kim had a verse on it, but it got yanked last minute. The reason? Clearance issues tied to Biggie's estate, which at the time was controlled by his mother, Valletta Wallace. But even after all that, when Biggie's mom, Valletta Wallace, passed away in February, guess who was there? Kim. She showed up to the funeral. No shade, no drama, just respect. Once again, she proved she knows how to take the high road, even when she's been done dirty. Let's be honest, so much of the hate Kim got over the years was just straight up misogyny. They called her disloyal. They said she was wild, fake, extra, but none of it was true. Kim was one of the only ones who stayed loyal to Big through everything. While others moved on or stayed silent, she kept his memory alive, in her music, in her words, in her actions. She didn't just ride for him, she protected his legacy. And now, the world's finally starting to give her the flowers she's been owed. That apology from Lil Cease wasn't just a moment, it was a shift. It was the beginning of Kim getting her respect. But now it's your turn. What do you think? Was Lil Kim misjudged all these years? And how do you feel about the way she held it down for Biggie when no one else did? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit that like button, smash that subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss what's coming next. I'll catch you in the next one.